pretty much every Protoss player at this point has opted for the hatch block because it hurts the Zerg a whole lot more than it does hurt the Protoss, should that be successful. As we go from here now, I do think ZOUN is very favored in this matchup. ZOUN's PVZ is very good. And although he did kind of get bopped when he against the Zergs he did play in his GSL group, in Group C, which realistically was such a group of death. Okay, thank you. So, yeah, oh, that's not good. Hopefully ZOUN is not suffering from kind of early stage carpal tunnel stuff. Hopefully we don't have another Beyond on our hands. That would be very sad. And honestly surprising because it feels like it's only Terrans that really struggle with those RSI injuries, considering just because of how the micro the Terran players have to do is. But I guess on the flip side, I mean, bullying micro is pretty strenuous. So you have that as well. Anyway, well, ZOUN, his PVZ is very good. And DRG, honestly, his ZVP feels like it's his weakest matchup. It's not as modernized as it needs to be. His ZVT, he's found a fantastic way to merge his old style from back before he went to the military and the modern style, and just really play something pretty cool. And really take the best aspects of both and just, again, have probably one of the best ZVTs in the world. I mean, he does lose on occasion, but he is better at it than anyone else at, like, just really flowing like water around the map. That being said, though, you can't really do something quite as similar in ZVP. It's not as effective. Now, if he does want to go and kind of merge new style, old style, I could very much see him being a big fan of this Mutacorruptor style that we're seeing players like Raynor start to use against these Stargate openers within the last month, I think. I think we saw Raynor. I think I first saw Raynor start to do it like right before Katowice. Although I don't think he used Katowice. Anyways, it's pretty cool because you do go mutas into corruptors, and what you do there by forcing Phoenix and by forcing Void Rays is you delay the carrier transition, you delay the storm transition, you delay all of these things that, well, really makes the Protoss powerful. Going Void Rays, that's just to allow them to survive up until the carrier mark, and well, if you delay that, eventually you may be going to have a little bit too much. You can do a lot, of course, get a decent amount of eco damage as well. Now, there's no guarantee that DRG is doing that, but it is a new way to play against this Stargate style. I guess an old way, but a new way in the context of the current meta. And it does seem to be rather successful thus far, so we're going to have to see what happens with that one. As, well, ZOUN, he's playing the build. His third base is just about halfway done, went down at 350, but it's going to be immediately on into a Robo. A single Void Ray, single Oracle, and never mind. There we go. That's a later Stargate. It's going to be Robo before second Stargate instead of second Stargate before Robo. And, well, what does this give ZOUN here? It gives him a slightly stronger ground force. It does mean that he can have more Immortals earlier to try to hold off any push that DRG is going to look to go for. And DRG is kind of looking like he wants to go for something like that. He's at 48 workers. He's going to go up to 55. Give or take here. Yeah, these Zerglings will not get anything done. Just force a couple more Warpins. He has 6 Queens, so it's going up to 7. So maybe not. Generally, this timing, well, we do have some Roaches on the way. These might just be safety Roaches, though. Generally, this Queen Walk timing that you'll see players go for involves, well, 9, 10 Queens. So we have seen Queen production stop at 7 for the moment here. But, well, DRG's not droning anymore. It looks like he's just going to do it with 6 Queens because, well, one's going to get caught in the stasis. So we'll see these Queens moving across the map. And I do kind of like this because, in part, well, I like this for a couple reasons. A, this does appear to be one of the this seems to be like one of the best ways to beat this style at the moment that ZOUN has gone for. But B, well, there are not as many Stargate units as there were prior. Did he even finish that second Stargate? He did, but he's just not building out of it. So you can get away with 4 or 5 Queens if there are only 2 Void Rays. That being said, we do have oh man, look at this. DRG was able to find his way on into the natural, so we do have a massive circling run by. We'll find his way on in there. And yeah, eventually this Oracle will clean things up. Eventually the probes will maybe clean things up, but not before 8, 9, 10, 12 workers will die here. So now the Queens are coming to the fore. We do need to see some good transfusions here. Cannons are getting targeted down immediately. Now the Queens, of course, They do need to be careful, and now we have Disruptors on the field. Disruptors so good against Ravagers, against Queens. But, okay, first Disruptor shot will get one Ravager. Now we will see, there we go, one Void Ray will go on down, and the Queens are still alive. Void Rays, well, we're going to have another one joining on in here. And DRG, he's not, so it's just going to be pure Zerglings behind this. Zerglings, of course, do a very good job against Disruptors. Now we will see the Zerglings get on top of things. Vials will have to go on down here. Disruptor shot, once again, only gets one Ravager, and the Queens still fighting strong. We don't have any sort of shield battery here, so the Queens are still able to stay alive. Water is going to go down. They're going to take a Bile, and GG DRG is going to take game number 1. And spawning in the upper right in the blue. Down one game in the series, hoping to tie things up, equalize things here just a bit for Alpha X. ZOUN! And I just realized that was probably very peaky. I apologize. I don't have my VST set up. I forgot to turn those on. And when I first turn them on, they get a little bit rough, so I'm going to do that in the next break. Because that will make things sound a lot better. Anyway, spawning the bottom left in the red for Team NV. Up one game in this series, DRG. The man from Busan himself here, looking to exact vengeance for how badly the Zergs or the Protoss all bopped him in his GSL group. And hopefully he will be able to do so. Actually, I believe ZOUN was one of the players that bopped him in that GSL group. Right? Let me check. I was like, won't scroll down too far, but I don't want to be spoiled from today. Oh no, this is dangerous. No, it was Hurricane. Yeah, that was right. Hurricane 2-1 DRG and 2-0 DRG. So that's what that was. Which was very surprising because, I mean, Hurricane's good, but he's not great. Certainly, you know, I would expect the, you know, the semi-finalist of the last GSL season to be able to deal with Hurricane. But anyway, we're going to have to see where we go on in here. It's most likely going to be the Stargate build here from ZOUN, as this map is decent enough for it. That is the prevailing idea. Honestly, every map is decent enough for it. Every map that's not banned, that is. That's actually interesting. We haven't had any of the old maps, or the new maps, excuse me, find their way through the pool just yet. As I believe they were banned. Maybe, well, they should be on the pool for this. I'm actually not sure. Alright, what's the map pool for this? Is it ladder pool? Yes, it is. Okay. That is the case. But there we go. Stargate on the way, of course. DRG going for same old, same old. So, for the moment, we're totally fine. We're not going to see too much really get kicked off here until about a minute, 2-3 minutes from now. So, yeah, let me sit here. Hope you all are having a fantastic day. And actually, yeah, I'm going to take that opportunity to fix my audio. There we go. Okay, actually, I didn't even have to do anything. It opened up properly and when worked the first time. Half the time I do that, I just get crackly as all hell. So, this is a wonderful surprise. So now we have DRG. He's fully saturated here, going back into gas, of course. And yeah, Zergling speed. He will scout the third base. So, at this point, well, he knows that ZOUN has gone for that 350 third base. He knows there is a robo on the way. Well, he doesn't know if there's a robo on the way, I don't think. But if you took a look at the build game number 1 right now, we are doing the same. We're seeing the same build that ZOUN went for in game number 1. Now, of course, we're going to have to look. I believe it was right around the 430 mark that we did see that second Stargate. But, well, we're going to have to see whether ZOUN does go for that, or it's just going to be the single Stargate version. And it's looking like it will be. So this is a bit of an adaptation here from ZOUN by not getting that second Stargate. It means he will have a lot more on the ground to be able to defend whatever DRG does decide to throw at him. But DRG not really looking like he wants to go for a the same type of build that he did go for in game number 1. Certainly not as fast, as the layer is only just now getting started. Sure, there's a Roach Warren on the way, but that looks very much like a safety Roach Warren. We have, well, we're already up at 55 workers, and we're going to have more on the way. So DRG going up to 60-something, but look at this. He's posturing with these queens. He says, ah, yeah, look, I'm walking my queens. Be very afraid, ZOUN. Defend. Drop a ton of static defeat. I am walking, static D. I am walking my queens. But he's not. I mean, not really. Yes, his queens are alpha creepier, but they're just posturing. They're just trying to convince ZOUN that the thing that ZOUN fears the most is coming to fruition, but it's not. It's just going to be a lair on the way. We will have an Evo chamber on the way here, and from this point, I'm very curious to see what type of army DRG does decide to build for himself. Is this going to be Swarm Hosts? +1 Swarm Hosts seems rather. I mean, it's always an interesting style. Sometimes it works really well. Sometimes it doesn't at all. But no, it's going to be Hydras on the way, and it is Disruptor Tech, of course, here from ZOUN. He is probably one of the he's probably the Protoss that favors this style the most in Korea, if not certainly one of the most common practitioners of the Disruptor arts against Zerg players. In contrast with Zest, who is supposed to be in this group, by the way, who like never uses Disruptors against Zerg, which is why Raynor was able to kill him with a bunch of lurker timings. But of course, well, DRG, he won't be able to do that, not necessarily, because Disruptors will be the game of the name here, the name of the game for ZOUN, and that will keep him a little bit safer. As now the Zerglings are going to shark around, they won't find a 4th base, and now ZOUN is going to feel confident, a little bit safer, in taking out this 3rd base. There we go. Okay, so Stasis Trap not going to get anything done. And, sorry, not more confident taking the 3rd base, more confident in adding that 2nd Stargates. Now the Queens are off creep, so it's going to be difficult for them to really get in range of these Vorters. So the 4th base of DRG will be canceled here for the moment, twice actually, so that's minus 150, minus like half the cost of the base at this point. So nice little pickup there for ZOUN is, well, he's adding a bunch of additional gateways. It's just really going on into things. He is solidly on 3 bases. He has a solid economy. And well, we're going to go from here. Now, DRG going for a bit older style. Certainly not as old as when he was last playing professionally before now. But a style that has not really been in vogue as of late, strictly because of this Void Ray into Storm opener that we've seen so often. So it's going to be a bunch of Hydras off of 87 workers. Baneling speed is going to be on the way, and it's going to be Hydraling Bane. But the thing is, well, we already have a Fleet Beacon almost done here. We're going to see a lot, and I mean a significant amount here. So, oh, these Disruptor shots. They're going to get 2 queens for their trouble, but still, there are 5 more where that came from. No big deal. Now, Zergling's looking for this round here. Maybe going to be able to get a Disruptor, but no, we'll not be able to do so. Anyway, oh, man, that's a lot of stack defense. Good luck to DRG breaking that one. But anyway, we're now getting on into this position where DRG, he's going to have a fairly decent Hydraling Bane army. But there's a reason this army is not nearly as popular. A, because it's, 8 minutes and 30 seconds. We already have carriers on the way. We have +1 carriers on the way. And Hydras are abysmal against +1 carriers. They just don't do anything nearly enough. So, well, DRG, he's going to try to hit this timing. And I'm not all that confident. Yes, he does have a supply lead, but most of that is in workers. Most of that is in economy, which, sure, having a big economy is nice. But I don't know. I'm not exactly confident in that. But now Banelings are going to run on into the 3rd base, and well, actually, there's nowhere for the probes to die. So we're going to have to see a fairly big split here. And well, 16 workers will go on. Actually, a couple more maybe. There we go. 17. Yeah, 17 workers will die. And you know what? Sure, DRG spent a lot of gas for that, a lot of Banelings, but not terrible. And he has cut down on the income of ZOUN somewhat. But now the carriers have arrived here. DRG, he's getting close to maxed out once again, but his lair is incredibly far behind. Excuse me, his hive is very far behind here. And what you really need against this style, against this army, you very much need Vipers to be able to really deal with these carriers. Now, once again, we will have DRG running on in once again. Bailing's going to get the last of the workers on this base. And this base actually should just go down here. The question, though, is whether the Disruptors will be able to get the shots they need to. Bailings will connect rather nicely. And you know what? How many Disruptor shots do we have as of Yeah, left. Okay, so that's going to be 2. They're not really going to get a whole lot. One last disruptor shot going on in. DRG with a fantastic splits. The ground army here of ZOUN is going down, and DRG actually going to be able to get on top of things. Maybe? Just maybe. Can he get on top of these carriers? There we go. One carrier is getting targeted down, but not dying as of yet. Disruptor shots are going to go on off here, and DRG will be forced back for the moment, but 9 workers do die. ZOUN has lost his 3rd base. But as the carrier ball does build, this gets a lot harder for DRG. Now, I will say, this creep spread is terrifying. This creep spread is immaculate. Oh, the flanking disruptors. Oh, okay, so one will get targeted down immediately. Second one, he's just going to have to split against, and we'll take a massive shot there. And this is why things get a little bit problematic. Oh, more banelings do go on down. So, this is why trying to do this, play this build that DRG has gone for is just so damn hard. Even with a massive, and I mean a truly massive, income supply or income lead at this point, well, carrier disruptor just trades so good against this army that DRG has built. But we do have Carabas now on the way. We have 2+2 melee on the way here, so the Hydras will be able to fight the carriers just a little bit more, a little bit better. And now we have a bunch of banelings going to come rolling on in. Disruptor shot has been baited out, and how many disruptors do we have on the map? We have 3. Okay, so yeah, these zealots will be cleaned on up as well. The queens will be able to stay alive. And, well, okay, but the big thing here, of course, is, and the thing that ZOUN is always looking for, is not whether these zealots get any damage done. It's whether they force the Berserk army back, and that is exactly what we do see. So, we have 2-2 on the way, Ultra Cavern on the way as well, and finally some Vipers. Vipers are, of course, what DRG needs more than anything else. If he can abduct things, that's what he's going to want to have here. Is now, well, Disruptor Shot is going to get a couple Zerglings. Whatever. That's not the damage that ZOUN is looking for. But I think there are 4 Disruptors on the map, maybe going on up to 5. And I mean, yeah, sure, Vipers are the thing that you need to deal with this. But nothing else. And, you know, I mean, sure, Ultras are okay against Disruptors, I guess, but still, I mean, it's spell damage. They don't care about the armor, the 5 armor that an Ultralisk will have. So that, of course, does mean that, well, it's only the health pool that you're dealing with. So Disruptors actually, in force, can knock down Ultras very easily. That being said, we do have Storm on the way. +2 carriers are on the way here, and the +2 timing. I don't think I've heard of Roddy talk about anything as much as I've heard about that +2 timing. So Zerglings will find the Zarkon, but there's a shield battery here, and yeah, that's not going to really work out. But it does buy room here for the Banelings to come crashing on in. These Banelings do have +2, of course, so they are getting a decent amount of damage done. Only 2 workers will die, though. Banelings come crashing on into the 4th base as well. 11 more workers do die. And yeah, I mean, DRG is getting damage done. That's not in question. Yes, he has killed a grand total of 37 probes over the course of this game. What I am much more worried about, though, is the state of his army. He has a lot of Hydras, he has a lot of Banelings, he has a lot of Zerglings, and we have Disruptors out. Of course, we have Storm just about done, we have a lot of Archons. This army from DRG, as big as it is, as heavily upgraded as it is just going to fall apart against the Storm Disruptor tech. So we have DRG doing what he has to do to make this work. So he is, of course, just fighting everywhere where his opponent is not, trying to get eco damage as much as he can as he works to modernize, as he works to upgrade his army into something that is actually expensive, something that can actually take the fight here. But it's the +2 carrier timing, and ZOUN is not taking advantage of it. Okay. I really did think he would. I thought he was going to move out on the map here, but he only has 3 carriers on the map right now. So we now have the Ultras. They are going on in. Of course, they do have 2-4 at the moment. They will eventually have 3-5. And this is, of course, nice from ZOUN. So he's not able to get out on the map super hard with any sort of run-bys because A, he needs everything at home, and B, this group spread from DRG is truly terrifying. So that does allow DRG a lot of wiggle room here to have his army out on the map. And what's really interesting here, DRG only going for a single Spire play. I would expect him, if he's going to go for any sort of Spire build, you get that double Spire, and then you just get heavy Spire upgrades. But now, DRG will find his way on into the 3rd base. Nice abducts here on top of all the Disruptors, and that will disable all of this damage. Now, not all of them will go down, though. That's going to be a bit of a problem here, is now Ultras will find a bunch of scary Void Rays in the sky, and the Ultras just die, just like that, because, hey, +2 Void Rays, they do a whole hell of a lot. So DRG not taking a good fight there. Not at all. Well, actually, okay, so DRG killed 3K. Well, okay, no, that was a good trade for DRG after all. Never mind. It didn't look all that great when we looked at supplies and looked what died, but no, yeah, DRG taking a positive value trade there. And DRG, yeah, he's lost a little bit more, but he's still within the range of I'm okay enough. I haven't lost too much. But now Ultra Crackling Run By will find this third base, and this will go on down. But again, we have the +2 carrier timing now. This is what's scary. This is what, well, more than anything, this is what DRG has to worry about here. As yet, 10 workers are dying, but it's 5 +2 carriers. Oh, these disruptors are going to die to a couple ultras, and that's going to be fun. Meanwhile, this base is going down as well, and DRG, he's just doing what he can to try to modernize his. Actually, it looks like he's going for a full-on base trade. As he's doing what he can to try to build the army that he needs to build to be able to fight this. Because if he can beat this army from ZOUN once, if he can kill it once, that's all that's going to matter. Is the storms are going to land immediately, but now the ultras are going to get on top of these on the High Templar, but the storms are already going to land anyways. Actually, the High Templar won't even die. And now, well, it is +2 carriers. There's not a lot of anti-air here. Infestors are on the way, of course, but DRG does. Oh, he does have the larva. He doesn't have the money. His remax is not nearly big enough here. We have 6 infestors. Will be the name of the game here, as DRG has lost only 1 base. Actually, he will start to lose more, but he doesn't have the gas. He does not have the minerals. I am surprised that his remax was not that big, but realistically, he spent it on ultras. Ultras are not that good against this army. There we go. So we have a recall now, though. It looks like DRG has just enough to really take that fight, and we will see what just died. 2 immortals, a carrier, a void ray. So where are we right now? We have 4 carriers on the map, 6 void rays, 1 immortal here. Zerglings are going to get on top of this 5th base here, I guess 4th base now of ZOUN. And, well, okay, DRG's not going to headbutt into this. He says, okay, look, my income is really even with yours at this point, even if I do have more bases, because I've been mining more for longer. So that's a problem. It is absolutely a problem here for DRG, because he doesn't have a lot. He's not really mining from that bottom right-hand side base yet, as Banelings will morph on in, and, well, it's a bunch of Archons, so don't want it to make that trade. And why not build a few more carriers, Bitterwood says. Well, there's kind of this interesting balancing act, where too many carriers can sometimes be a bad thing. Because it really leaves you open to corruptor switches, for example. If you build a bunch of corruptors and it's only a carrier army, upgrades don't even really matter all that much. You just corruptors go kill things. So you don't want to have that that balanced army, not necessarily even to take the best possible fight against what the army that the Zerg player has. It's to prevent the Zerg from getting on into the next army, to really have a extremely specialized army that's going to fight you very well. But now we will see some fungals going in. Fungal, parasitic bomb, blinding, what is this actually? Neuroparasite, not neuroparasite. Anyway, the thing that makes ground or air attacks don't do anything. Microbial Shroud, there we go. Man, 16 carriers against Terran. That's a little bit ballsy. I'm surprised. I would think that enough Vikings would just deal with that. Thank you, Sushi. Microbial Shroud. We see it so rarely that I always forget what it is. Now we have a Zealot run by on the bottom side here, but I mean it's on creep. DRG will be able to respond to this in time, and it's only +2 Zealots, so they shouldn't be able to kill this base. Yeah, especially not with these +3 ultras there, because hey, yeah, splash damage. It's a good thing. But what that does do is it gives ZOUN license to get out onto the map, to knock off some creep here from DRG. But of course, well, I mean, ZOUN, the big scary army, it's on the left-hand side, which does mean that DRG maybe can find his way up on into this 5th base here of ZOUN. But no, that's not going to happen, because there's 2 Archons and innumerable amounts of static defense. Yeah, 15 Vikings to 18 carriers. That's Vikings aren't going to win that. You need like 2 or 3. You need a max out on Vikings if your opponent's maxing out on carriers. That's kind of how that one works. But now it does look like we will see DRG. He will try to make the aggression happen here. Now, of course, with the oh, look at that. So he does have neural. So these Archons. Oh, actually, this is going to be really good, because the Archons are here and they're going to be able to knock down a lot of these interceptors. But of course, on the flip side, those storms are going to be massive. Now the ultras do get on top of everything on the ground here, but they are dying rather quickly. Disruptor shots are going to go as well, and DRG is going to take an abjectly terrible fight. Now, we have a lot of queens, sure, but they are only +1 queens. They're not +3. Disruptors are going to get some sort of fight here, and well, it's just going to be mass transfuses as the army does try to take the fight here. How many interceptors do we have? That is the big question. No interceptors are left on the field, but the ground army is going to be too damn strong. GG, DRG will fall down. Spawning in the bottom right. In the blue, he is representing the Alpha X, Team Alpha X, sure. In the blue, ZOUN. And his opponent in the upper right, in the red, representing Team NV, DRG. Hey man, I'm sitting here doing these intros, and even as I'm looking at the Protoss player and see that ZOUN is at the bottom of the screen because I have that set properly, I'm convinced I'm introing DRG. So I'm like, yeah, playing for Team NV. It's wait, no, that's ZOUN. I can read. I understand what races these players play. Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. So, I'm sorry, Bitterwood, we do not see any sort of cannon rush here in this game. But it doesn't surprise me. ZOUN, he's not a parting. He has some special tactics to be sure, but he's not that type of aggressive player. And, yeah, Zeiss, new maps are in the pool, but it appears in our first 2 series at the very least, the players have all banned them out. Which actually kind of surprises me because, well, I guess, well, let's see. Blackburn is not good for Protoss. Beckett is very much not good for Terran. And 2,000 atmospheres, maybe you're just not used to it enough. Okay. Or, sorry, 2,000 atmospheres is not very good for... Or Beckett is terrible for Zerg. So that makes sense why those two are banned out. And I guess the third one, you're like, okay, might as well make the trifecta. But anyway, Stargate build coming on up once again. Stargate into a Warp Gate. And, well, actually, was this Warp Gate into... No, never mind. This looks like Warp Gate into Stargate. So, we're going to see the archetypical Trap build in this series, which is pretty cool because, of course, Trap is in this tournament and is in this group as well. But this is a build that does allow you to get your Warp Gate just a little bit faster. And more importantly, it does, it makes it a little bit harder for DRG to scout things because, well, you don't have the tell of it being 230 and there's no Warp Gate. So, that's what we see happening here. As our DRG, I mean, he will scout this Stargate eventually, if not by scouting the Stargate, by losing his Overlord to it. Yeah, Bitterwood, literally no one misses Submarine. Although the fun fact, of course, is, if you look at Beckett, it actually has a shorter rush distance, natural to natural, than Submarine did. The map looks bigger, but there are just about as many bases. Realistically, you only have 5 really accessible, and then there's one that's kind of no man's land. And the rush distance, natural to natural, with all the speed zones, is 28 seconds. I believe Submarine was 30. So, yeah, it's pretty bad. So we saw DRG versus Innovation during the World Team League on it yesterday, and it wasn't pretty. We'll put it that way. It was not pretty. DRG won a fantastic late game ZVT on Blackburn for the first game of that series, and then, yeah, game 2 happened. And Innovation won with like the first push. Because there's just so many. It's so pushable, and there's so many siege tank positions that are hard to remove. I mean, they're behind destructible rocks, but getting there and knocking the rocks down in time is just is very hard to do. But anyway, third base on the way here for ZOUN. That 350 timing is he's playing very, very similar builds. It is interesting that he has decided that getting that Robo very quickly in all of his games is incredibly important. It's not okay. So we will see the Zerglings will try to maybe knock this wall down, but they're gonna force a warp in, and hey, that's money that's not towards infrastructure, so win there for DRGs. He's not ever going to be able to get on top of that one adept on the third base because there's a shield battery. And shield batteries are somewhat good things. Once again, DRG, he's playing for a style that he played in game number 2. Well, as I say that, he's going up to 8 queens. And there are some queen walks that... Oh, nice pick up there. There are some queen walks that do go up to decent, almost 70 drone counts. Now, I don't think it's going to be a roach queen walk, because A, we don't see any roaches on the way. B, there is an Evo. Oh, that's just mean. Oh, look at that, ZOUN. Oh, no. So, yeah, we're going to have to see an Overseer get morphed here and clean that up. DRG, he's not going to be able to get a third for quite, or fourth for quite a while. Oh, he's just going to take one on the bottom side. Okay. Anyway, this is going to be the Spire style that I was talking about in, I think, game number 1. And of course, DRG didn't go for that. He went for the Queen Walk timing in that build. But going for that Spire style is very cool. It does do a really good job of kneecapping this quick to carrier style that we do see so many Protoss players enjoy at the moment. And, well, we're going to have to see how it works out for him, because I think I've seen DRG do this once. It didn't work out all that well against Hurricane. But I do like the idea of the style at the very least. So, of course, +1 melee is on the way. So this does imply that we will see mutas quickly. And look at that. The Oracle will go on down as well. So that's going to be a bit of a problem, as, well, you want that Oracle to establish map control to make sure that you don't lose to anything too crazy there. Black Magic, ZOUN. What exactly was Black Magic that I'm... Are we just talking about the Oracle dying, the stasis trap? But +1 air is on the way, and we have a fleet beacon as well. Wait, has... Okay, this is just the transition into carriers. I was gonna say, like, has, oh, excuse me. Has, ZOUN... I don't think he's scouted this Spire. But there we go. 16 mutas are now on the way. +1 air attack on the way as well. And yeah, ZOUN has not scouted this. So these, we're going up to, yeah, these 16 meters are going to be a bit of a shock to him. A bit of a scary thing indeed. Now, of course, behind this, DRG immediately going on into Corruptors. He understands how this style goes. This was honestly one of the most common styles that we saw played in Heart of the Swarm. So there we go. We will have the shield battery taken down immediately. These cannons are going to start to go down as well. ZOUN, he's going to try to ravage this mineral, or DRG is going to just ravage this mineral line and actually kill a lot of these Void Rays off, as well as, well, the shield battery is going to go on down here. Mutas are going to get on top of this. There's just not a lot of anti-air here. This timing has been very good for DRG, and of course behind this we have Corruptors on the way. Corruptors very good at dealing with Phoenix play. So there's some pretty fancy micro here that we are looking at. As first and foremost, what we're looking at is the fact that when you take a fight, you want to lead with your mutas. Unless the Phoenix are leading, at which point you want to lead with your Corruptor. So it's a dance of Void Rays dancing back and forth, Corruptors dancing back and forth, Phoenix dancing back and forth. And all about, of course, the eco damage. Not really the straight-up army damage, because, well, at a certain point, you know, the army just gets whittled away. And we said now the Phoenix will show on up here. Anti Pulse Crystals are on the way, and that does make life a little bit more difficult for DRG. Oh, he's going to be able to dive on top of them. One Phoenix will not go down. Shield batteries, they're a powerful drug. But now with the Corruptors here, what do we have? We have 15 Corruptors, 10 mutas. And that's versus 5 and 4 Void Rays. Well, excuse me, 3 and 4 Void Rays and Phoenixes. The Stalkers are getting warped on in to try to make this happen. Now, this third base is just not going to live, right? This is something that ZOUN will have to live with having it die. ZOUN's just going to have to live with not having that. Now, he does have another third base, or fourth base is what it once was, going in. And now with shield battery overcharge, well, it doesn't really matter because there are just too many Corruptors. And, yeah, well, it's just pure Phoenix and Phoenix don't fight Corruptors even with +1, so that third base will go on down here. Muta's coming on in to try to wreak havoc on the ground, but now Zerglings, they're continuing to move forward, they're continuing to get aggressive here, as more and more Phoenix do go on down, and yeah, Andean Pulse Crystals does mean that theoretically, the Phoenix can fight the Corruptors. They do have the range, they do outrange Corruptors. Corruptors have high enough turn rate that they can dive on into things, do what they need to do. Now, with these Disruptors here, of course, the Queen push is not going to be all that useful. But, of course, with Zerglings, they will have +2 rather soon, and now we're getting back on into Mutas. Having some additional ground damage there is rather useful. And now, where are we at? This is what we're going to look at for the time being. So it is 18 Corruptors, 20 Mutas against really 5... against 5 Phoenix, and yeah, they have Andean Pulse Crystals to be sure, but that doesn't really matter. As the Phoenix, they're just killing off the killing off these Disruptors. As Corruptors, they say, you know what, to hell with this. We're just going to kill your base. You don't have what you need here, as the Mutas are going to try to get on top of things. Sure, Stalkers are going to get warped on them, but the third base does go down here. Phoenix going down, DRG playing a really cool style.